Well done. Okay, Teresa, are you ready? They haven't even started coming? I know. I'm not. So just to brief you, today we're going to pass through PE restructuration. We're aiming for the policy session and for the Korea progress report. Yes, Aya is reminding you that the declaration, the global one, is in the folder so that you can review it, so that we can start with the discussion once we come to the policy session. Can we confirm that you all have emotion cards and numbers, that those weren't taken? Okay, thank you so much. So the third bus should be here in 10 minutes, so then we are going to start. You can walk if you want to, do some physical activity. You can sleep because we are still not in session. Depends.
Restructuration, Korean policy. What's the second one? Korea. Progress report. Yeah. Policy progress report and the PE, pharmacification restructuration.
In 5 minutes, just stop me if it's too long.
Just be fast.
Yeah. But there's some people sitting on the back. I'll check.
I don't have one, but there is no chicken. Because this photo is still from
I don't know. She's the only one available. And South Korea. I didn't. What?
One Korean as well.
You have it in. You have it in the email. You have it in. Both. Mm-hmm. Chloe. Chloe. Chloe.
I don't think.
How did you get there? Third class. I'm not
I can have my phone. I think it should be
No, they don't want. Petra. Do we have the money from the envelopes? Commercialized. Where is that?
I don't have the envelopes from the merchandise.
No fun. This is green. Colorblind. At least we didn't let them do. No, I saw it was yesterday here, so.
Why, Danny? Why? Why, Danny?
Scan you or scan me? Marcela? We will provide.
Teresa, don't change anything now in parliamentary system. Tell her not to change anything in parliamentary system.
You fixed it?
Teresa. Yes. I made a copy so that if something wasn't copied properly, that you have a copy. Okay, please a bit faster. Thank you so much. Anyone who is not OD and wants to be a scrutineer, most welcome. It's an amazing experience to learn and to be physically active. And Rian, don't look at me like this. Don't look at me like this.
Teresa, which motion is Daniel's?
Okay, can I get a confirmation that every country has at least one delegate in the room so that we can start? Oh, Ipsf Egypt. Are they in the bus? Okay, I think we should be starting without them because otherwise we would never start. Okay, so hello everyone one more time. And Teresa, are you ready for the roll call? Yeah, you can propose a motion to give them voting cards. So, you will.
Please be ready for roll call. ASEP Algeria, ANEP France, SPSA Slovakia, delegated to ANEP France, BPHD Germany, NZF New Zealand, PAS Nigeria, and USPS Singapore, SSF Slovenia, NAPSR Serbia, delegated to SSF Slovenia, BPSA United Kingdom, IPHASP United States of America, FECOF Costa Rica, delegate to IPHASP United States of America, TPAYC Turkey, ATP Tunisia, delegated to TPAYC Turkey, SAP South Africa, NAPSA Sierra Leone, delegated to SAP South Africa, FASR for Romania, PPSA Poland, HUMSHA Hungary, delegated to PPSA Poland, ZPSA Zimbabwe, KPS Netherlands, GPSA Ghana, UPSA Uganda, delegated to GPSA Ghana, FIPSA Finland, TUPS Estonia, delegated to PIPSA Finland, NAPSA Australia, AFEP Austria, IFR Argentina, delegated to AFEP Austria, APSF Egypt, JPSA Jordan, IPST Iraq, delegated to JPSA Jordan, MyPSA Malaysia, ISMA First Indonesia, delegated to MyPSA Malaysia, BPPC Morocco, APF Portugal, RPSA Rwanda, PSUD Thailand, IAP Mali, MAPS India, SFR Burkina Faso, IFA Togo, ASEP Switzerland, SNAPS Sweden, Kenya's Republic of Korea, QPUS Qatar, IPS Japan, delegated to QPUS Qatar, LPS Lebanon, IPSA Iran, delegated to LPSA Lebanon, CAPSA Kenya, CPSA Croatia, and PSA Malta, delegated to CPSA Croatia, CAPSA Canada, APF Peru, delegated to CAPSA Canada, and CSPSA Czech Republic. We have 51 full members present and voting. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Can we have a proposer and seconder to resume ANEP France and NAPS Australia? Okay, so as we said, we are going to start. First we need to approve the scrutineer. So motion 45 reads: this is the 65th Ipsf General Assembly appoints Ms. Agata Maricela Gorska, PPSA Poland, the scrutineer for the duration of this General Assembly. This motion shall not be reviewed once it has been achieved. I'm opening floor for discussion. I'm closing the floor for discussion. Anyone against? Any abstentions? The motion passed unanimously. So we are moving to the motion of the pharmacy education portfolio restructuration. I would kindly ask Daniel to come to the stage to present the restructuration and the IT team to put the presentation of the restructuration on. Thank you so much. Can we have the presentation of the pharmacy education portfolio restructuration on the screen, please? Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. Daniel Semi, Chairperson of Pharmacy Education, the General Assembly, dear fellow EXCO. Can we have the slides instead of my face? Okay. So I'm proposing a changes to the structure within the pharmacy education portfolio. As you can see in the slide, this is the current structure of the pharmacy education committee. So it might seem that this is a bit bigger. And so we have PE advocacy, PE research, internship, and then other helping, committees that were split into programming, FIPAD liaison, and also GPP manager. So next, I'm giving you a bit of a background why I propose these changes. The first one is to, as maybe many of you are not aware of what is pharmacy education portfolio exactly, because there's not many projects that were close to members. Mostly it's just webinars, so that's one of the reasons. The second one is the structure, in my opinion, seems a bit disorganized with all those people directly to be directed by me. And the last one is the PE research coordinator and subcommittee. So PE research, the term research is a bit broad, so in the beginning of the mandate, it's a bit hard to decide what kind of research we're going to do, basically. And there wasn't, because this portfolio wasn't really active before, and there's no project that was a bit sustainable, so to say. Next. So the objectives of this restructuration is to first to broaden the scope of pharmacy education, not just for advocacy, but also for practical education projects. So what I mean with the practical education project is pharmacy practices and pharmaceutical sciences education. So by having these two more driven focused sub-theme within pharmacy education, it should widen the range of projects that we could implement. And the last one is to increase collaboration with the FIP, basically. So speaking about FIP, next slide. So this is the main structure, I would say, of FIP. So it was divided into three main blocks, which are the Board of Pharmacy Practices, the Board of Pharmaceutical Sciences, and Education, so FIPAD. And also they have YPG, but this is the structure that basically I'm going to mimic a bit within the pharmacy education. So next slide. So this is the proposed new structure. So we will have a more slimmer structure within the portfolio. The first one is I'm keeping the education advocacy. And then the research will be split into pharmacy practices and pharmaceutical sciences initiative, or PPI and PSI. And the last one is internship coordinator. And within those three coordinator, there will be a subcommittee to help. And I'm putting editor as like, sorry, can you, yeah. I'm putting Pen and Future editor as like a bit above, so that those 4 areas, including internship, could be included in both Pen and Future, basically. This is just, structural. Next. So about other position that was in the old structure, next please. So we have GPP manager. Rather than having a GPP manager, I think it's better to have it some sort of task force. So it's a joint effort between external student exchange and PE. So I was proposing that the task force could consist of internship coordinator, student exchange committee, and external committee members, basically. As for programming, this will be deleted because the responsibilities of programming basically is to help with either FIP session proposal or World Congress, and it doesn't has like annual work, so just during that. And I believe that by adding like more coordinators who we select more intensely, it should work well. So the coordinators and the chairpersons will serve as helping for programming for either FIP session or World Congress, basically. And the last one is FIPET liaison. So this is a position that was proposed last year. I think this could be put under the education advocacy as well. So yeah, that's the changes I propose. Next. Thank you very much. I think now it's time for questions.
Thank you, Daniel. I'm opening floor for discussion. Any questions or comments? Anep France.
Pierre Anep France. Do you think that this portfolio could work on the difficulties faced by the pharmacy students around the world? I mean, regarding changes in curricula, stuff like this? Maybe more specific in each country, you are very different curricula and a lot of changes, and maybe it could be great if IPSF investigate in this way. Thanks.
Yeah, so for like curriculum and everything, I was thinking it should fall under education advocacy, because it's more, how do I put this, like for the changes of the curriculum, for the changes of the system. But yeah, the thing is, it's so diverse with either practices and sciences. Some country focus more on sciences, some country focus more on practical. But in my opinion, that we should like not focus on one sub-theme, but rather focus on both, if this makes sense. Okay, thanks.
Any further comments or questions? I see none. I close the floor for discussion, and we proceed on voting to the motion 48, which reads this: the 65th IPSF General Assembly accepts the proposed restructure of the pharmacy education portfolio. This motion shall be achieved immediately and shall not be reviewed. Anyone against? Any abstentions? The motion was carried unanimously. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. So, because there will be changes in PE, so maybe you can encourage your members to apply for the position next year. Thank you.
Okay. We would proceed with the motion 36, which reads this: the 65th IPSF General Assembly accepts and adopts the report of the chairperson of the reception committee of the 66th IPSF World Congress. I would like to invite the representative from Technical CDPSA Czech Republic.
UTCZPSA Czech Republic. I would like to ask you, is there any water? Did RC bring any water? We don't have any here. Thanks.
It has been requested. Technical Agata Gorska.
Agata Gorska, event manager. We are currently checking outside if there is any water. Thank you.
Okay, I would like to invite the representative from KNUPS South Korea to the stage to present their presentation of the progress report. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Min Tae-sung, the Vice Chairperson of the 2020 World Congress. Today, I'm going to share all the progress of the next year World Congress that we have done so far. You can find the progress report booklet that contains all the detail in the General Assembly folder too. Contents of the today presentation is now shown on the screen. Our reception committees consist of the 12 leaders. Yes. Dongguk University's Seoul campus will be our main venues. It is especially promising that KNUPS has an advisor professor from the pharmacy school of this university who is very supportive. Not only the president of this university and the vice president of the external affairs are happy to assist our World Congress. And the participant will stay and take class during the World Congress in Grand Ambassador Seoul Hotel. And we have had several meetings with the hotel managers to have great deals. The good news is the hotel itself decided to be our big sponsors, now being able to pay very reasonable price. And also the venue and the hotel is around 5 minutes walk apart. It means that we don't need any transportations between hotel and venues. And for your information, and welcoming dinner and gala night will be taken place in the grand volume of the Grand Ambassador. We are expecting to invite 510 participants for total, and about 70 participants are expected to participate in PCT. And the World Congress will start 27 July, Monday, as arrival days. It is recommended, please keep in mind, it is recommended to arrive before evening as there is an opening ceremony. And 5 days of the LIT before World Congress, and 4 days of the PCT after World Congress. And the main theme of the 2020 World Congress is transforming the pharmacist law, improving the quality of life through the healthcare innovations. And aligning with the main theme and topic of the education symposium is threat or opportunities, leading our way toward the patient safety through the innovative platform of the patient educations. And the topic of the scientific symposium is about pharmacogenomics. Here is a tentative World Congress schedule here. Considering the time and the contents arrangement be realistic. Also, there are also tentative options. We are currently working on the PCTs. One of the options is a temple stay, allowing the visitor to experience Buddhism. Another option is in Jeju, where you can feel the natural scenery of the Korea. And the registration fee of the 2020 World Congress Phase 1 is 460 euros. The phase 2 is 510 euros, and phase 3 is 550 euros. We expect to see the number of the registrate at the number of the 350 participants for phase 1, including the official delegate spots, and the 50 for phase 2 and 40 for phase 3. Therefore, we are expected to collect 210,700 euros from the participant registration fee and around 91,000 euros from the fundraising and the sponsorship. And of course, most of the budget will be used in the accommodation and food. And check out the detail of the budget, and if you have any questions, we would appreciate asking the question after the presentations. Currently, the established sponsors are as follows, including the Korean Pharmaceutical Association. We have been working on the sponsorship since the last years, achieving to get some the government sponsorship. And there are many ongoing sponsorship work from the companies waiting for the result. Thank you for your attentions. We recognize that Korea is famous for the fast internet and Korean food and Korean wave, including the K-drama and K-pop these days. But there is more to find when you come to Korea, of which countries that you has very astonishing the history, traditional cultures, and the history, and the people, and the pharmacy trend, which you haven't heard and you haven't seen yet. And the 2020 World Congress Reception Committee is looking forward to seeing all of you in Korea next year. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I'm opening floor for discussion. Any questions? Okay, we'll start with Anne France, followed by ŠSSF Slovenia.
Thanks, Malistela.
Pierre Anne France. Can you, compared to this Congress, can you please explain the high registration fee for the World Congress? Thank you.
Considering the hotel and the academic venues to more than accommodate 500 people, and actually the World Congress schedule overlap with the peak season in Korea, so the cost was higher than we had expected. But we have do our best to make the next World Congress full of the good academic sessions and the exciting cultural program. Thank you.
ŠSSF Slovenia.
Špila ŠSSF Slovenia. Firstly, we would like to congratulate you for an amazing promotion and very detailed report. We've seen that you have confirmation letter from the hotel. How many contracts have you already signed and how many do you still need to sign? We believe that this is the right way to avoid the cancellation and changes of the program in the last minute. Thank you.
Actually, we reserved all the hotel system, and maybe the 2020 January, maybe we paid for the 10% of the all total of the hotel fee. So that maybe yes, maybe all the progress already has been complete, except the yes. Oh yeah, we already signed the. Yeah, we already signed.
We have a direct from ŠSSF Slovenia.
Špila ŠSSF Slovenia. Sorry, I didn't understand correctly. You signed the contract for the hotel.
Yes.
What about the other venues like the GA and workshops? Thank you.
Dongguk University actually is academic venues, so our advisor professors is currently working on the. It's about the Donggum University's academic venues. Maybe already all the academic venue is completely maybe because the president of the these Donggum universities wanted to host our congress in the Donggum University. So that's why we need to sign the contracts after maybe this World Congress. Yes. Thank you.
Thank you. The next we have Ipsf Austria.
Marlene Ipsf Austria, thank you so much for your presentation. I had a look at the program, and please correct me if I'm wrong, but I thought that the educational and scientific symposium attendance is mandatory. And I see here that you have it in the same time slot as GA and workshops, so I was wondering how that, could you just please clarify this for me? Thank you.
사이언티픽하고 에듀케이션 심포지엄이 맨데터리 의무라고 나와 있는데 이거가 맞는지 그리고 다른 CA나 워크숍 스케줄은 어떻게 되는지.
Okay. Actually, the topic, the education symposium and the scientific symposium is mandatory, and then maybe the many workshop is ongoing now. So we invite the speaker from the pharmaceutical company and many government organizations. Maybe this is ongoing, I think. It's about the workshop is ongoing.
Before I take clarification, EXCO has reviewed the program and we do not know where we have found that the GA is in the same time, because in the program we are looking, the educational and scientific symposium are standalone. Direct Ipsf Austria.
Marlene Ipsf Austria, because I have the program which was uploaded at GA, like the progress report, and here it says on Tuesday in the afternoon, GA from 2:30 to 6, and also educational symposium from 2:30 to 6.
Yes.
Daniel,
chairperson of PE. Can you check again with the table, because they don't have the, the days are. So according to what we have on the progress report, it's educational symposium on the 29th and scientific on the 30th. So general assembly is on the 31st and workshops on the 28th. It's okay.
okay, we have CAPSI Canada, dropped. Then we have CPSA Croatia.
Luka, CPSA Croatia, thank you for your presentation. I wanted to ask about the budget regarding sponsorships. I see that you already have found some sponsors, and you noted that sponsorship to be raised are about 59,000 euros, which is not a small amount, so I wanted to ask what is your plan to achieve it, and do you already have some specific sponsors in mind?
Actually, everyone says about the budget. 41,000 euros is already confirmed by our sponsorship, we expect to 40,000 euros by this year from the ongoing sponsorship and planned sponsorship. And luckily, the KNIPS advisor professor and the senior of the KNIPS are helping us for the sponsorship. So maybe by this year, we can do it. Thank you.
Next we have APEF Portugal.
Marcelina, Ipsf Portugal, thank you for your report. So this year we had the CP meetings and the SEO meetings separately. That was really helpful for the associations that have these positions just in one person. So do you think that will be possible in Korea to have these meetings separately? Because in the program is together.
Actually, this schedule is a little bit tentative. Maybe we will consider it this kind of this like separately we will consider the CP and the SEO meetings separately. After this World Congress we will talk about this. Yes, thank you.
So we have Ipsf Portugal.
In Escola Ipsf Portugal, as far as I can remember, there was an email sent in March to all CPs asking the opinion in changing the dates of the World Congress due to venue opportunities. So I would like to know if you had to change the venue because of this, or if you had to increase the price of the fee because of this. Thank you.
Okay. Actually, the agencies wanted to host our one Congress, and there is a limited the facility that the host like this Ipsf World Congress, and it takes the 3 hours between the international airport to the Daejeon cities. So we considering the accessibility of the speakers and discomfort of the participant and the cost of the transportation fee. So we had decided to the host a World Congress in the Seoul. Thank you.
We have Ipsf Portugal.
Joana Perez, Ipsf Portugal. Thank you so much for your report and all the promotion you've been doing to your event. It's amazing. My question was, in the pictures that you showed in your presentation regarding the venue, we can see an auditorium that doesn't have tables. So what I would like to ask you, if this venue would have a room prepared for GA sessions, or if the picture that shows up with the auditorium will be the one where we'll have the GA as well. Thank you.
Actually, there is no J room in these presentations, but we have already have in mind like the big classroom to host all the J room, because it is important to the fast internet, and also we considering about the clean circumstance. So maybe, and auditorium is just for the symposium.
Next we have Maps India.
Niranjan from Maps India. Thank you for your presentation. So I wanted to ask you again regarding your sponsorships. If you were to generate an excess of your sponsorship, would you be willing to compromise on the registration fees? Thank you.
Actually, maybe we try to focus on the program. I think it means that if we got more the sponsorship, maybe we are trying to like focus on like the foods or the programs or the maybe the academic sections maybe. So thank you.
BPSA UK.
Sebastian Bailey, BPSA United Kingdom. Exco, feel free to chime in on this as well. So it appears that the package price is initially increased by quite a bit, do you think this could discourage people from attending? And do you think we could utilize reserves to make this more affordable?
등록비가 조금 비싼데 그게 다른 사람들이 참여하는데 디모티베이션 그러니까 동기를 좀 떨어뜨릴 수 있다고 본다. 이거에 대해서 어떻게 생각하는지 페트라가 대답할 수
Petra, Ipsf President, I would clarify on the second part of the question first. So it wouldn't be possible to use the IPSF reserves because the budget of the World Congress is separated from the budget of IPSF. And second thing is that the price they're having is according to the official documents. They're able to charge 50 euros per night. So it's the maximum fee that they can do. Oh, pardon, 55, sorry.
콘텐츠로 생각하겠다고 비싸고
Okay.
정말 좋은 거 좀.
Okay. Okay. Questions? Question. Okay. As many, I think that many participants get our sponsorship gift right. Actually, we try to all the things to the contents in the next year World Congress. We try to more better program, more better venues, and more better things. We will consider it.
Thank you. We have Ipsf Slovenia.
Špela, Ipsf Slovenia. I was just wondering if you have the information when is Ipsa Summer University taking place, because I have the information that it's around 20th till the 25th of July, so it will overlap with LIT. I'm not sure, that's why I'm asking. Thank you.
Petra, Ipsf President, we are not aware of the dates, but usually it does not have any impact on the IPSF World Congress because EPSA Summer University is usually before. So LIT is a program for 20 participants, and we do not think that this is going to impact, but we have a direct from EPSA.
Mihai, EPSA President. So the dates of the Summer University were not yet discussed, established, but of course we will take into consideration the dates of the EURS and the World Congress. Thank you.
Thank you, EPSA. Next we have a new comment from IFO Portugal.
Beatriz Nanz, IFO Portugal. Thank you so much for your report. As you know, for the next year, it will be the Olympic Games in Japan, so the prices of the flights probably will increase. So have you considered this issue? And if so, what would be your strategy if you see that the number of participants is not what you have expected?
Actually, we are already okay. Actually, we had talked about these Olympic issues with our reception committees. We think that maybe many participants are considering the Korea and Japan together. So if the airplane ticket is a little bit higher, but maybe many participants can enjoy our World Congress and then next to the Japan's Olympics. So I think that's it is more synergy. I think that it is more. I think the synergy effect. I think. Okay.
We have a direct from IFO Portugal.
Beatriz for Portugal. Have you considered to contact companies to get promotions or something?
Yes. Actually, we have many ongoing sponsorship work with from the companies. We consider like the field trip, like field trip factories, or the many kinds of the recently like many companies including the pharmaceutical companies and the media companies wanted to collaborate with our World Congress. So maybe after the August, maybe yes. 홍보? 오케이.
근데 지금 여기 와서 몬텐다 이제 가지고 모두 다 홍보 다.
오케이. Actually, the government organizations sponsors all these kind of the promotion gift for under the name of the promotions. And the next year, we also get the sponsorship during the World Congress. All the promotion gifts, we got a sponsorship from the government, such as Seoul metropolitan governments. They support all the promotion gifts.
We have first technical KNAPS Korea.
Raise your hand, KNAPS. Thank you.
Sorry, but can you check the streaming is on air?
Can we confirm the live stream is on?
Yes.
It is. So clarification, I hope Portugal.
Beatriz for Portugal. I'm sorry. I was just talking about the flight companies, to get cheaper flights and so on. Sorry if I wasn't clear.
Actually, we will about flight companies. Not yet. We contact the flight companies yet. But maybe that in PCT in Jeju, right? So maybe we will try to contact Jeju Airlines to promote more the PCT program. Thank you.
Thank you. The next on the list we have ASPSA. Where is direct? Sorry. Are you sure?
Ines Coelho for Portugal. So I would suggest you to take care of this issue as soon as possible, because it's a process that still takes some time, and we really need discounts, because otherwise we are afraid of the price of the flight. Thank you.
Okay, next one we have CPSA Croatia. Can we get a scrutineer to CPSA Croatia, please?
Luka CPSA Croatia. You mentioned that you plan to have 510 participants, which is a high number. So how do you plan to achieve it, considering the high registration fee? And if it turns out to be a lower number, how would it affect the organizations? Thank you.
Actually, we will do our best to promote the promotions, and we will try to make more focus on the contents that all participants will satisfied. Maybe so that's why we come here to promote the next year World Congress, and then we try to more useful like academic sessions, or the exciting cultural program, or the good PCT. We want to, and we try to. Thank you.
We have a direct from CPSA Croatia.
Luka CPSA Croatia, thank you for your answer, but for the second part of my question, if the number turns out to be lower, how would it affect the organization of the Congress, considering the lower number of participants and lower income from registration fees?
적으면은 그 등록비를 어떻게 영향을 미칠 건지, 그리고 어떻게 핸들링 할 건지, 예산을 깎아야 될 건지, 뭐 그런.
Actually, we set aside the extra fund as a miscellaneous. Maybe it will be covered by the miscellaneous. As you can see, the budget as a miscellaneous is kind of just in case, like exchange rate or the also like less participant. Maybe it will be covered by the miscellaneous, I think. Thank you.
Next we have AFOP Austria.
Marlene, AFOP Austria. I was wondering, since this year there seems a big part of the problems concerning communication.
Yes.
How would you make sure that this wouldn't happen again next year? Thank you.
Actually, we had to talk many about the communications, our reception communities during this World Congress. So that's why we have feedbacks like the made up files. So we promised to participants. Communications is all very, very, very. We will consider in the next year Congress, like. Maybe before participant went to go to the Korea, we will all the like informative the mail to all the participants before, just at least 1 month, yes. And we try to all the detail to the participant, like the detail about the participant. We go to if a participant go to the airport, we serve all the details about the airplane details, all the transportations, and all about the venues, and all about our sections, about all the program we reserved.
We have a direct from AFOP Austria.
Marlene, AFOP Austria. Thank you so much for your answer. And part of it is also communication with EXCO, so I was wondering about that part as well. Thank you.
참가자들하고 하는 소통뿐만이 아니라 IPSF 임원진들하고 소통을 어떻게 할 건지 그건 민주노 과장님.
Okay. Actually, I think that we will do. We have done a good communication with EXCO before come to this the World Congress, and then and we will try to more effective the communications with the EXCO, and we try to we are our best. Thank you.
Next we have PPSA Poland.
Yeah, and then PPSA Poland. First of all, we would like to congratulate you on a wonderful promotion. And during years, we faced the problem with big amounts of plastic, and the Congress has produced really huge garbage. So my question is, do you have any plans to make the Congress more eco-friendly? Thank you.
Actually, we made a promotion gift like EcoFact. Actually, the government is kind of categories that we need to have make like eco-friendly the products that already have category. So after the next year World Congress, we will also make a like a eco-friendly product to the participants. Thank you.
We have a direct from KNEP South Korea.
Yeah, we consider that too, and we will make something EcoBag and or we can make something tumbler to reduce the plastic. So I think we can do that, and we're considering that.
Next, we have FPSA Sudan.
Jose, FPSA Sudan. First, I was going to ask about the plane tickets offers, but now, considering the visa, how are you going to use the visa for the participants, and how long, if it's not possible, should participants apply? Because sometimes it's differs from country to country, because some countries has visa on arrival, while some countries has to pay and apply before a specific time. Thank you.
As you can the progress report booklet. There is the visa waiver program in Korea, and over 111 countries list do not need the visa when they come to Korea. So, and we will provide the invitation letter to participants who need the visas. I think we know that in Korea, I think the visa is not the big problem in Korea. Thank you.
Thank you. We have BPSA UK.
Sean, BPSA UK, and we're very excited to be coming to Korea next year, and we've got a big delegation, hopefully in attendance. I've been going through the budget, and I see that your tickets are estimated to sell 444 in the packages, but then throughout your budget, you're actually booking accommodation, dinners, gala night, and other events for 510. Are we giving away 66 free tickets, or is there an error in your budgeting? Because you should be budgeting for the same number of packages for dinner, unless you're giving away 66 free tickets. That could result in over £30,000 in savings, which could reduce the ticket price by €56 per person.
All the calculations I use. 예산에 보면은 지금 30,000 갭이 있대. 근데 이거를 그 숙소랑 그런 거에 따져보면은 그 30,000 갭이 있는데 이거를 다른 데 사용할 건지 아니면은 등록비를 낮추는 데 사용을 할 건지 물어봤어. 그 언니 오빠가 사람들한테 등록비로 가져오는 그 비용이랑 사용하는 비용에 그 갭이 있는데 이거를 어디에 사용을 할 건지 그렇게 얘기를 하던지
아니면 just in case
이해는 했어?
그러니까 미래를 위해서 거기다 써야 된다고 하는 게 낫지 않을까? 오케이. Maybe we will try to focus on more the program. You mentioned the cost of the extra, right? And we will maybe also try to pay this fee just in case, because I think that many kinds of the things will occur in the next year. So I think that we will more focus on these kind of things just in case, like more program, more like contents. Thank you.
Joy?
윤정초의 IPSF April chairperson, so that gap can be from the registration fee from the executive committee and the reception committee you can consider. Thank you.
Maps India.
Niranjan from Maps India. I just have a suggestion, I guess. I found out that you guys have a national airline, Korean Air, and I would suggest that you initially start discussing with them to maybe get discounts for the students participating in the Congress, because it happened this year for World Congress. Maybe it would also increase the participation if those opportunities were available. Thank you.
Okay. Yes, we will try to considering your opinions. Yes, thank you.
Then we have Ipsf Portugal.
Marcelina Ipsf Portugal. So, you may know that in Seoul will also take place in 2020 the International Congress for Clinical Chemistry and Laboratory Medicine, which sponsors are some pharmaceutical industries and other you may be interested in. So what is your strategy to engage in possible partners and not let these big events affect the amount of sponsorship yet to be raised?
제가 말하는 건 지금 그 연도에 다른 큰 이벤트가 있는 것 같아요. 한국에. 근데 그게 스폰서 영향을 미칠 수 있다고 생각하는데 이거에 대처하는 전략을 어떻게 짤 건지 스폰서랑.
I think that it doesn't affect our World Congress because we already many ongoing sponsorship with many companies with many ongoing sponsorship work from the companies. So maybe I think that it doesn't work because also there are many international conference in Korea. Maybe many kinds of the overrides, but I think that it doesn't affect our World Congress. Thank you.
We have a direct from Ipsf Portugal.
Marcelina Ipsf Portugal. I'm just a little bit concerned because one of the platinum sponsors for this congress is Roche. So it's a big company to be a sponsor. So this can be a problem in the future when you try to get more sponsors.
Because we already planned the future sponsorship, so like I just said before, we plan to collect all the sponsorship by this year because we are planned all the kind of the sponsorship with companies like because many company already ongoing the sponsorship, so that's why that it doesn't affect our sponsorship because we already planned the future sponsorship and we have there many ongoing sponsorship to achieve the total the sponsorship. So thank you.
We have Symposium for Slovenia.
Spiela Symposium for Slovenia. In the program, the GA is planned to take place for 4 days in total. Since the GA is the main decision body, and ODs have a lot of things to discuss to improve the federation, we believe that 4 days is not enough. Have you discussed this issue with the EXCO? Thank you.
제너럴 어셈블리가 4일 동안 열린다고 타임테이블에 나와 있어. 근데 지금 디스커션 할 게 많으니까 이거를 임원진으로 하고 논의를 해봤는지 물어봤어.
그냥 그러면은 혹시라도 지금 그냥 이것처럼 좀 추가적으로 올릴 수 있으면 우리 고려해보겠다 이렇게 하면 될까요? Okay.
Okay. Like this, the General Assembly, maybe in the futures, in need more the General Assembly, we will consider it to more general, because we already reserved the Dongguk University facility, so there are many spaces to like this kind of the General Assembly, so we will consider it and we will talk with we will talk with EXCO later. Thank you.
Next we have KNUP's Republic of Korea.
Yeah, first of all, that I'd like to say I understand your guys' concern about. Yeah. First of, given that in Korea, given that Korea's general income is quite high, so that's why we decide the registration fee quite high, and the accommodation is really bad, really good, and you can go, as he mentioned before, like we can walk to the venue to walk in 5 minutes, and Korea has super high speed internet, so you don't worry about that. Then Dongguk University is a university, so you guys can we can ensure that GA room better. I'm not talking about this is not good, but yeah, we can ensure. Then I know your guys' concern, and we will try to our best. Even though my mandate is going over soon, but we will try to our best. Then yeah, thank you.
Thank you so much. Then we have APHA ASP USA.
Judy Chan, APHA ASP USA. I had a question about how you guys will accommodate any dietary restrictions during the conference. Thank you.
Actually, the welcoming dinner and gala nights will be served in buffet style, include the general vegetarians and the halal foods already confirmed, and then most of the foods will be served in the school at the school cafeteria. Dongguk University is famous for the so delicious food. So yeah, that's it. Thank you.
Next we have Ipsf Finland.
Nora Ipsf Finland. In this Congress there has been a lot of problems with time management. What kind of actions have you done or plan to do to avoid similar problems in Korea? Thank you.
Okay. Actually, about SNS. Korean usually use the Kakao Talk because it is easy to notice all the things. It's just one page. And first of all participants will come to our Congress. Maybe we suggest all the participants download the Kakao Talk, and then maybe all the participants get the booklets about all the kind of the program before the Congress. So concerning about these information things, as I said, mentions, we had feedback all the things before I coming this presentation. Also, we will do, if there are any ideas to add, please share with us. Thank you.
We have CAPSA Kenya. Oh, sorry, I forgot. Technical, back Morocco.
So I couldn't spell my name on the speakers list. I asked for a new question.
Apologies, you will be added. CAPSA Kenya.
David Kefsa Kenya. So from the presentation they've made so much deliberate preparations towards having a good World Congress. The only thing that I'm requesting you, whatever suggestions have been made, you're doing an amazing job, put them into action, and let's have a great moment when we come to South Korea next year. And it will be fantastic. Congratulations for the good work. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Next, we have MAPS India.
Hi, this is Sahil Maps India. So this year we had a PPSC innovation competition in which the 3 delegates' entire Congress fees were sponsored. So do you intend to have this competition next year in Korea? Thank you.
Petra, Ipsf President. So this was in collaboration and partnership with Pharmacy and Consulting Company. It was done in the last year. The contract was signed for 1 year with potential of extension. We're going to meet with Pharmacy and Consulting, the new team probably at the beginning of the mandate, and then we will see if the competition is going to happen, because this is nothing to do with the RC. Next we have SNAP Sweden.
Ulrika, SNAP Sweden, thank you for a good presentation. It is stated in the budget that you have planned for 6 dinners. Should it be 8, or is there any dinners which is not included in the budget yet? Thank you.
Maybe on the budget, there are many social events, right? In case of like the water bombs, we move to the another spaces, so that maybe we will considering the another food for the social events like that, because there are many social events, right? So so maybe we will prepare the other foods to at the social events spaces. Thank you.
Next we have back Morocco, but I would just like to tell the delegate from back Morocco that she has the wrong number in her hands, and it always appears as Aspsa Egypt, and this was the reason why her name was not on the list. Your number is 62, sorry.
Okay, thank you. So thank you again for your presentation, and it is really reassuring to see the RC members that we know already the RC numbers now from your presentation. I just want to make sure that for the next World Congress, that all the official delegates and delegates will be in the same venue and that there won't be any changes. Like, can you reassure that we'll be in the same hotel?
Yeah, all the participants use the same hotel.
Next we have BPHD Germany.
Till BPHD Germany, thank you for a great presentation. I think you made your points pretty clear, so I'd like to propose to close the floor for discussion.
Thank you so much. So we have a proposer BPHD Germany and the seconder APF Portugal. All those against? Okay. We are closing the floor for discussion, and we are proceeding to vote on the motion 36, which reads, this the 65th IPSF General Assembly accepts and adopts the report of the chairperson of the reception committee of the 66th IPSF World Congress. All those against? Any abstentions? The motion passed unanimously. Okay, to continue with the World Congress in 2020, we are going to have the motion 49, which reads, this the 65th IPSF General Assembly approves the theme for the Educational Symposium of the 66th IPSF World Congress. threats or opportunities leading the way forward towards patient safety through innovative platforms for patients' education. This motion shall be achieved immediately and shall not be reviewed. I'm opening floor for discussion. Okay. Leading the way towards patient safety. Apologies. Any comments, questions? Technical CAPC. How can you point?
Sophia CAPC Canada. Should it be patient education? I'm not sure what would be more grammatically correct. For patient education. That's usually how I have heard that being used. Thanks.
So we have a confirmation from the native speakers that both would be correct. So as I can see no further comments, I'm closing the floor for discussion and we proceed to voting. Anyone against? Any abstentions? The motion was carried unanimously. In continuation, we are going to go to motion 50, which reads this: the 65th IPSF General Assembly approves the theme for the scientific symposium of the 66th IPSF World Congress, Pharmacogenomics Clinical Blueprint for Individualized Patient Care. This motion should be achieved immediately and shall not be reviewed. I'm opening floor for discussion. Can we have the parliamentary system on, please? Thank you. As I see no comments or questions, I'm closing the floor for discussion and we proceed to voting. Anyone against? Any abstentions? The motion was carried unanimously. Thank you. And then we have the motion 45, which reads this: the 65th IPSF General Assembly co-opts Mr. Minjung Park, chairperson of the 66th IPSF World Congress, onto the IPSF Executive Committee 2019-20. This shall be achieved immediately and shall not be reviewed. I'm opening the floor for discussion. I'm closing the floor for discussion and we proceed to voting. Anyone against? Any abstentions? The motion was carried unanimously. Thank you.
Yes, they are all on. Yes. Do you want to propose a technical? Sorry? If you propose a technical, I can talk with him. You need to... Are there any more that can be... Yes. No, it can be like...
Okay, now we proceed with one also shorter motion. We have motion 6, which, we have a technical from IFWL.
Jennifer from Portugal, would it be possible to get the ACs a bit colder just because we're a bit warmer here? Thank you.
Can we have the RC or the technical help to get several Celsius down the AC? Thank you so much. So the motion 6 reads, this is the 65th IPSF General Assembly appoints PSF NNU Palestine, MyPSA Malaysia, Slovenia, I'm sorry, Mr. Michael McIntyre and Mr. Daniel Semi as members of the Auditing Committee for the 2019-20 mandate. This motion shall not be reviewed when it has been achieved. So we have, as per official documents, we approved yesterday the changes. We have now, in addition to the 3 member organizations, 2 additional members on the auditing committee, 1 from advisory board and 1 previous executive committee member. This is why Mr. Michael McIntyre and Mr. Daniel Semi are members of the auditing committee if you approve this. I'm opening floor for discussion. Any comments, questions? I'm closing the floor for discussion. And we proceed to voting. Anyone against? Any abstentions? The motion passed unanimously. Thank you. So we will proceed with the policy session until 2. So how it is going to be performed, we are going to read parts of the regional declarations that have been developed after a policy session during regional symposia. So out of those regional declarations, we have written the draft of the IPSF declaration, which we are going to vote on at the end. We are going to have a discussion on the declaration. The declaration was put in your folders and will be put on the screen once we come to this one. So we are discussing the motion 51. This is the 65th IPSF General Assembly approves the IPSF declaration on vaccine hesitancy. This motion shall be achieved immediately and shall not be reviewed. I would like to give the floor first to Choi, chairperson of APRO, to present the main points from the APRO declaration on the topic. Can we have the microphone in the middle working? Thank you so much.
Yunjung Choi, IPSF APRO chairperson. The International Pharmaceutical Students Federation, Asia-Pacific Regional Office, and its member organizations emphasizes the importance of pharmacists having enhanced role in administering vaccines to improve levels of vaccine coverage. Supports to adopt practical training on vaccine administration for pharmacy students in high-level education, preparing them for the evolving role of the pharmacist. Encourages students to be armed with the resources and skills to ease patients' concern on vaccines and be able to educate them about the benefits of vaccination. urges WHO and its member states to compile and summarize key aspects of the efficacy and safety profiles of vaccines in usual and auditory representations, and to provide appropriate platforms for effective feedback and inquiries from the public regarding vaccines in general. Calls upon WHO and its member states to provide clear, evidence-based safety and efficacy profiles of all vaccines, including compliance to local HOLA requirements, to be disseminated throughout society, especially to the concerned communities. Calls upon the pharmaceutical industry to invest the R&D of HALA alternatives to protein-derived gelatin. Requests that local media influencers should be engaged as spokesperson or advocates of vaccine for the local public. Calls for the effort on standardization and simplification of vaccination records for the efficient record management and prevention of the vaccination errors. Reminds the need of auto vaccination to start with influenza and pneumonia supported by separated health insurance coverage structure. Demands all member states extend HPV vaccination scheme, taking into consideration that there exists equal HPV risk in both sexes. Recommends IPSF to encourage its member association to run campaigns for promoting vaccination at local or national level. Trust IPSF would address its statements in demand for improvement in both safety and accessibility for vaccination and partner with other international organizations. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Next we have Emro.
Okay, I'll be reading the resolution on behalf of EMRO, but I'll just state the calls. The International Pharmaceutical Student Federation Eastern Mediterranean Regional Office and its member organization calls upon incorporating a special course for immunization and vaccination in the curriculum that explains all about vaccines, facts, misconceptions, and proper counseling tips for patients. Emphasizes the importance to authorize well-trained pharmacists to deliver immunizations for people coming to community pharmacy that has specific criteria for vaccinations room, encourages access of consistent supply of vaccines to all underprivileged and vulnerable populations, whether citizens or refugees, and ensure consistent follow-up with their immunization schedules. Endorses the implement surveillance and monitoring programs that ensure the availability and safety of vaccines for the population. Supports using social media to power the knowledge about vaccination. Calls upon WHO and its partners organization to organize educational training programs by special trainers that would teach pharmacy students the required skills to become a primary health provider for both vaccines education and administration. Further recommends that these programs also contain the basics of immunology and focus on both the practice implementation and legal regulatory issues with regard to vaccinations and how to address the patient's concern about vaccination. Petra, should I do you as well?
Okay, so we are going to have Euro next.
Okay, I'll be doing the resolution on behalf of the European Regional Office as well. The International Pharmaceutical Student Federation European Regional Office and its members calls for the IPSF to take concrete action to promote education and awareness on the issue of vaccination and vaccine hesitancy, both globally, regionally, and locally, through activities and initiatives that educate citizens and promote health. Request the IPSF to participate and provide joint or individual statements regarding the topic of vaccination and vaccine hesitancy to maximize the impact on advocacy. The IPSF should strive to assure a common stance of the pharmacy profession and also aim to collaborate with different student and professional organizations. Urge the IPSF to create a long-term and structured plan on education of the population on the topic of vaccination and vaccine hesitancy that shall be constructed in a way that reaches all citizens and sections within the society and built to touch all ages and cultures. In order to reach the people that are currently not educated on the topic, collaboration with governments and other health institutions shall have a central place to guarantee that all information is correct and to be trusted. Emphasizes the need for broad discussion regarding vaccinations and vaccine hesitancy between the different healthcare professionals, governments, stakeholders, association of students and recent graduates, patient and association of patients and the society in general. Further request the promotion of policies that strives to reach as many as possible patients and guaranteeing that health systems are citizen-centered and not focused on specific healthcare professionals nor in healthcare professionals in general. Draws the attention to the importance of interprofessional collaboration between different healthcare professionals to work together in establishing long-term plans to increase awareness on the importance of vaccination, thus increasing vaccination rates and the impact on health. To secure this, good communication between pharmacists, doctors, and other healthcare professionals is needed in managing the administration of vaccines. Encourages the member states to take action in order to allow pharmacists to be able to perform vaccination after mandatory and sufficient training, to the matter that will ultimately increase vaccination rates and contribute to healthier communities. Reminds the member states and the respective national institutions to consider providing sufficient and adequate training, specialized courses including practical and theoretical components, and guidelines for pharmacists to be able to vaccinate, guaranteeing security and no harm to the patient. The review of the pharmacy curricula at the faculties and the inclusion of sufficient training on the topic of vaccination shall be also considered. Affirms the importance of pharmacists, primary pharmacy students, and recent graduates leading the way regarding vaccination and vaccine hesitancy by acting as role models in the promotion of vaccination, clarification of common misunderstandings with the population and the associated outcomes in health. Recommends that actions need to be taken regarding affordable and equitable access to vaccines by guaranteeing similar prices for every citizen on a local, regional, and global level. Endorses the importance of allowing vaccination in community pharmacies as a way of reaching more people and increasing vaccination rates. Special adoption of the adoption of the pharmacies for their additional task is needed, and private rooms where administration of vaccines can be intimate, comfortable, and reserved for the patients shall be provided. Further reminds the need for vaccination for both men and women, for the HPV, as men can also spread the infection. Endorses pharmacists and pharmacies to take action on the education of the population by reducing the lack of knowledge and preventing the spread of misleading information concerning this topic, and stresses the importance of having specific education plans that will prepare pharmacy students and other future health care professionals in participating in education initiatives to tackle this issue.
Thank you. I would like to invite Benjamin Greathouse, the policy committee member, to deliver the statement on behalf of PARO.
Benjamin Greathouse, individual member USA, member of the policy committee. The International Pharmaceutical Students Federation, Pan American Regional Office, and its member organizations, viewing with appreciation the number of countries where pharmacists may administer vaccines, including Argentina, Canada, and the United States of America, noting with deep concern the number of unvaccinated persons in the region, whether due to lack of access to vaccines or anti-vaccine propaganda. Taking into account that 95% of a population needs to be vaccinated to provide herd immunity. Understanding the resurgence of vaccine-preventable diseases in the region, such as measles, calls upon member organizations, as well as other pharmacists groups in the region, to campaign for the right of pharmacists to administer vaccines, encourages the production of education campaigns to inform people about vaccine safety and the dangers of failure to vaccinate, advocates the inclusion of vaccine-related information in pharmacy curricula, strongly condemns misinformation propagated by the anti-vaccine movement, dissuades the media from publishing and releasing misleading information regarding vaccines, supports the inclusion of IPSF campaigns regarding vaccine information and vaccinations, trusts IPSF will continue the role of the pharmacist in vaccine education and administration. Thank you.
Thank you. And I would like to invite the chairperson of AFRO to deliver the statement on behalf of AFRO.
Otniel Nimbas, IPSF Afro chairperson. I'm also going to read the Paris Declaration about vaccine and vaccine hesitance from the IPSF Afro and its members. With the Regional Assembly, they've made it on behalf of our members. Recognizing that vaccine hesitance has become the focus of global attention and concern despite the existence of evidence alluding to the importance of vaccine in preventing diseases and saving lives of millions, realizing that in Africa there remains a number of knowledge gaps on subject of vaccine hesitance, and the majority of research on this topic has been carried out in high-income countries. Aware that not much is known about the nature and causes of vaccine hesitance in Africa, and evidence-based intervention in the region to address it are also limited, bearing in mind that most African countries are plagued by marked barriers in access supply side of vaccination, and therefore vaccine hesitance in this context is composed of complex interplay of structural and psychological influences than in high-income countries. Armed by the prevalence of misinformation in some communities, coupled with social media rumors and aided by the absence of education information on vaccination benefits, emphasizing that in the African region, there are three main reasons for hesitance: that has knowledge or awareness, risk, benefit regarding to the epidemiological and scientific, and religion, culture, gender, socioeconomic, and design of vaccination programs. One of our objects we are having are encouraging health workers to change the public's perceptions of vaccine and provide information in local dialects using all avenues of media, including social, on the benefit of vaccination, as opposed to the challenge communities that are anti-vax. Expresses its hope that a multi-stakeholder approach will be implemented involving academic institutions, government, NGOs, traditional and religious influences, bishops and sultans, to educate the public on vaccination. Recommends the extension of pharmacy services in Africa to include vaccination being conducted in pharmacies and the inclusion of such practical training in pharmacy school curriculums. Further recommends adoption of the community engagement framework, which involves line listing, reconciliation, and digital tracking to address negative perception on vaccination and ensure wider vaccine acceptance. Requests national governments to incorporate a plan to ensure vaccine hesitance into national vaccination and potentially develop new ones for application in Africa. Trust governments and ministries of health to continue acquiring vaccines and health commodities that are pre-qualified by WHO and certified as being safe, efficacious, and of good quality by national medicine regulatory authorities. Further encourages the need to build skills over the next years that integrate knowledge and expertise from intellectual fields outside of the traditional scope of vaccine programs and research through the integration of rigorous social sciences perspective into an area of typical dominated by medical thinking. Thank you very much.
Thank you, everyone. I would read the draft of the IPSF declaration. I would kindly ask if it is possible that we put it immediately on the screen so that people can follow up. Thank you so much. So, the International Pharmaceutical Students Federation, IPSF, and its member organization, recognizing the resurgence of vaccine-preventable diseases brought about by the decline in immunization rates and the rising threat of vaccine hesitancy. acknowledging that vaccines are one of the most cost-effective public health interventions that can prevent 2.5 million deaths annually. Taking into consideration the various factors such as culture and religion that may contribute to vaccine hesitancy. Emphasizing the position of the pharmacist as the most accessible healthcare professionals and the expanded role of pharmacists in immunization. Reaffirming the role of IPSF as a youth healthcare organization in tackling this issue in such a way that it shall impact our local communities. Calls on national governments and professional societies to create legal frameworks for pharmacists to be authorized to administer immunization with proper training and certification. Recommends academic institutions to consider including training on the administration of vaccines in pharmacy curricula. Emphasizes the potential of offering community-based immunization services to make a positive impact on vaccination rates due to increased accessibility to vaccinations. Urges national governments to ensure equitable access to affordable vaccines that are safe, effective, and of high quality through effective implementation of vaccination programs, ensuring the integrity of vaccines throughout the supply chain as products that require cold chain management. Condemns the misinformation disseminated by the anti-vaccine movement and the consequent effects it has on vaccine hesitancy. Commits to help to debunk myths and misinformation on the safety and efficacy of vaccines through the conduct of various campaigns in our local communities and through social media. We shall also ensure that such campaigns are accessible to local communities, especially to population that are most vulnerable to this misinformation. Recommends the adoption of the community engagement framework to curb vaccine hesitancy in local communities. Recommends the creation of a structured long-term plan on educating the public regarding vaccination and vaccine hesitancy. Calls on the pharmaceutical industry to invest in research and development efforts for halal alternatives to pig-derived gelatin used in some vaccines. Calls on national governments to expand HPV vaccination schemes due to equal HPV risk for both sexes and to curb the incidence and spread of this infection. Urges the public to recognize the multi-faced role of the pharmacist in issues concerning vaccinations and the threat of vaccine hesitancy. Thank you. So I would like to open the floor for discussion on this declaration. And if you have any questions or comments grammatically or any points which should be added or removed, we are going to take this into consideration. AFOP Austria, followed by ANEP France.
Rian, AFOP Austria, if you scroll back up on the document, the very first sentence has a comma and then the next three things that you want to say don't match with your very first introductory sentence.
Can we have the document on the screen instead of parliamentary system? I would be reading who is the next after the person so that you can follow. Can we have the statement, the declaration? Okay, thank you so much. We have a direct from Motions Committee. Policy Committee.
Benjamin Greathouse, individual member USA from the Policy Committee. The commas are from the formatting guide we used. We're using the UN model for draft resolutions, and each of the statements in this section would be followed by a comma. In the numbered section that are the calls to action, those would be followed by a semicolon, and the final one would be followed by a period. This is just formatting.
Thank you, AFOP. Then we have ANEP France, followed by FASFER Romania.
Pierre, ANEP France. Thank you very much for this high-quality document. I appreciate it very much. Regarding the countries where pharmacists are allowed to vaccinate. Is it possible to encourage in this document the extension of the number of vaccines achievable by pharmacists? Thank you.
Thank you so much. How the General Assembly feels about this? Clarification from KMPSV?
From KMPSV Netherlands, I don't fully understand what you're saying. Could you repeat?
I can clarify. So Pierre Anne France stated that he would like to add that there should be increase in number of vaccines pharmacists can deliver in the countries where vaccination is possible currently. Okay. We have been noting this down. Okay, we are adding the sentence. Yeah. ANEP visit the direct or one? Okay. Then we can move forward to Fast for Romania, followed by Fast for Romania.
Oana Fease for Romania. I would like to know if you have made any inquiries to find out whether there are other NGOs working on this topic or similar topics, and if yes, which ones, and if you have already contacted them, and if you're planning on working together. Thank you.
So Petra, Ipsf President, yes, we are aware that the other NGOs are working on this, and the WHSA, so World Healthcare Student Alliance, is also working on these topics. We are preparing the declaration for the IPSF commitments and calls, but there is always an option to open collaboration on the campaigns and advocate together on those. Thank you. Fast for Romania, followed by NZPSO New Zealand.
Ionut, Fast for Romania. I want to point out that for Euro was read the old statement, like the draft, but as Ms. Katarina Bacevic, the chairperson of Euro, said, there are only small changes, like a word and some grammar issues. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Yes, we are aware of this. She contacted us as well immediately that we have read the wrong one. Apologies for that, but it's a minor change. NZPSO New Zealand, followed by CAPSI Canada.
Callum, NZPSO New Zealand. I was just wondering if we would actually be able to, there was a thought process regarding addressing financial hardship regarding access to vaccines in certain countries. Like in New Zealand and a few other places, it can actually be quite hard, especially as people get older, to access vaccines. Thank you.
Can you please speak a bit slower?
Sorry, terrible New Zealand accent. I was just wondering if we were thinking of addressing financial hardship regarding access to vaccines in countries, purely because we have experience in New Zealand where, especially as people get older, the funding goes and it makes it a lot harder for people to access it, especially in lower socioeconomic areas in New Zealand. I'm guessing it's in other countries as well. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. So to clarify to those who did not understand, NZPSO is proposing to add financial burden, which usually occurs with the access to vaccines. So if the GA agrees, we are going to add this as well in the declaration. I would kindly ask you that you all react so that we can have the majority of the GA as the highest decision body. Thank you so much for the green cards. We have CAPSI Canada, followed by ANEP France.
Sophia, CAPSI Canada. In point 1, after reaffirming, there's 2 extra underscores, one after calls on, and the other one between societies and 2. This is super nitpicky, sorry. Thanks.
Thank you so much, CAPSI Canada. We have ANEP France, followed by PANS Nigeria.
Pierre ANEP France. Could we add in this document investigate in a global mandatory list of vaccines?
So just to clarify, so investigate on, like in terms of like in which country which vaccines are mandatory?
Yes. Or making a global mandatory vaccines list.
Okay. Aya Jamal.
Just a clarification so we know how we write this. When you say investigates, who are we calling upon? Are you calling member states or organizations so we can put it?
Organization, I guess. Pierre-Nep France, oui.
Okay, so your proposal is, for example, to investigate on the global mandatory list of vaccines. You're calling upon World Health Organization, or you need to specify who we're calling upon so we can add it in the declaration.
Pierre-Nep France. Yes, WHO. WHO, sorry. Yes, thanks.
We have a direct from KMPSV the Netherlands.
Bram Kempis, the Netherlands. I'm not sure if we should add this to the policy statement because you cannot just make it mandatory for the whole world to be vaccinated. There are medical ethics to be considered, and also different regions require different vaccines, so I'm not sure if this is a good idea.
Thank you. So can we have Greens if you would like to add the mandatory list to the policy statement, and Red if you think that is not a good idea? I see majority of Red, unfortunately, so we are not going to add this. We have PANS Nigeria.
Sylvester Adeyemi, PANS Nigeria. I'd like to comment on the third, emphasize the potential of offering community pharmacy-based immunization services to make a positive impact on vaccination rate due to increased accessibility to vaccines. As community pharmacies, we do not only provide patients with vaccines, we are also responsible for ensuring that patients adhere to the vaccination program. So I'd like to recommend that the role of pharmacists in adherence and completion of vaccination should be included to this statement. Thank you.
Thank you so much, PANS Nigeria. So in addition to access to vaccines, to add adherence to vaccines as a role of pharmacists, can I assess the General Assembly if you are in favor of adding this to the declaration? If yes, green. If red, okay. Can I have more green cards, please? Or red cards? A clarification from Ipsf Egypt.
Gila Mahmoud, Ipsf Egypt. I'm not sure I understand what action does he want to put in the policy statement. Thank you.
We have a direct from PANS Nigeria.
Sylvester Adeyemi, PANS Nigeria. So as community pharmacists, we want this patient to get their vaccines, yes. And we also want them to complete their vaccination programs. Some vaccines could be for like 6 months or a year, for example, the HPV vaccination. And so as community pharmacy, we play a role in ensuring that they adhere to the shot that they take. And also we monitor that they take these vaccines. Thank you.
Thank you, PANS. We have a direct from CAPSI Canada.
Sophia Capsi, Canada. I feel like it may be difficult to implement in all countries because in Canada, the public health sector takes care of many vaccines. So most of them are actually not the pharmacist's responsibility, and therefore I'm not sure how useful this statement would be. Thank you.
Thank you so much. We have direct from KMPSV the Netherlands.
Brom Campus, the Netherlands. I wouldn't consider this to be a problem because it's the same in the Netherlands, and if there's information exchange between the pharmacy and the institution, a pharmacist could have a role in reminding and ensuring that the patient could get his vaccines, or even showing that the importance of it. So I think it's still doable.
Thank you so much. Any further comments on this? We have had a lot of greens before, so we are going to add the adherence also to the declaration. Next we have Kepsa Kenya. Can you please stand up so the scrutineer can see you?
David Kepsa Kenya. So my first comment comes on point number 6, commitment as the IPSF, the group. So we shall also ensure that such campaigns are accessible to local community, especially to populations that are most vulnerable to this information. I think from that point of discussion, we could include the different member associations of IPSF. For example, if we are talking about Kenya, we could add a clause that is indicating that to populations that are most vulnerable to this information through our member organizations. That means we'll be reaching out, and it's very specific on how we are going to give that information. That's a suggestion that I have. Then another thing the other 2 points that I feel we could include on this, encouraging collaborative engagement among professional societies to foster information sharing on vaccination programs. For example, in Kenya currently, there's a vaccination program that is being championed to ensure that pharmacists are able to offer vaccines. So if such a policy is being done by the professional association in Kenya, then such kind of information can be shared through collaborative networks to ensure that all other societies can engage on that. Then the third one would be to recommend governments and professional associations to foster public-private partnerships towards the promotion of vaccination programs. That's something that's already in Kenya, where we are talking about an engagement where community pharmacies, because the challenge is on financing of vaccines. If a community pharmacy is running a private clinic, is supposed to give vaccine, it will be at a cost. If we have public-private partnerships where the government will be paying for it, but it's being channeled through the community pharmacies to improve access and ensure that the costs are affordable. So I think those are 2 things that we can add as well. Thank you.
Thank you so much. So we had 3 comments. I accepted because we didn't have anyone else on the list. So the first one is to adding that on the point 6 that we're going to do this through our member organizations. I would like to assess the GA if this is a good addition to this. I would like to see everyone raising their emotion card. So we still have a lot of green, so we are going to add this. Have you written that on? And then I would kindly ask you to repeat the second one, if it wouldn't be a problem.
David Kepsa Kenya. So the second one is encourage collaborative engagement among professional societies to foster information sharing on vaccination programs that are running parallelly.
Can we get a... Can you please repeat one more time and clarify how do you mean? Because we have a lot of question marks.
So the statement is encourage collaborative engagement among professional societies to foster information sharing on vaccination programs by pharmacists. So in such a program, what happens is, now for the Pharmaceutical Society of Kenya, that's in our country where I am, they're bringing a program where pharmacists will be trained on vaccination, and they're going to follow up to ensure these pharmacists are playing an active role to ensure citizens get access to vaccines, and their vaccine schedules are followed up on. So if, for example, that's something that is starting in Kenya, in the East African region, if we promote collaborative engagement, it means and the government or the Pharmaceutical Society of Uganda now can access the same information instead of starting from scratch. And that would be a valid point to ensure that we play an active role to promote vaccination. Then
Just a moment, let's stop here. We are going, so adding this part, can we have the motions from the General Assembly, if this would be beneficial or needed? I can see majority of green, so Ben is going to add that to the declaration. And then can we have the third point one more time, please?
Recommend governments and professional associations to foster public-private partnerships to promote access to vaccinations. So the argument to foster government professional association to foster public-private partnerships to promote access to vaccinations. The argument is most of the people who don't get access to vaccinations are as a result of the financial constraints or the distance, for example, in the remote communities, the resource-constrained areas. So if such is the problem, at the end of the day, we have community pharmacies which are closer to them. If pharmacists who are running private clinics partner with governments to ensure vaccines are available in their clinics, then these will be they'll be able to offer vaccinations that are needed by people at a cost, like a fair, affordable cost to the people. So I think that could be something we could look into.
Thank you so much. We have a direct from CAPC Canada.
Sophia CAPC Canada. I think it's a very valid point. However, not every country has private clinics. So perhaps we could add like where applicable, because the statement as it is now does not apply to every country, but we could say where applicable, etc. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much. Do we have any further comments on the third point? Okay, can we have the... Oh, yeah, apologies. Ben, Policy Committee.
Benjamin Greathouse, I am USA Policy Committee. I think this actually is covered by what we added earlier about ensuring that vaccines are affordable. I believe it was from NZAPSO, about which, as I wrote it, encourages governments to ensure that vaccines are affordable to persons in all stages of life, which this would fall directly under that.
We have a direct from KEPSA Kenya.
David KEPSA Kenya. It falls under that, but I believe when we mention the public-private partnerships, we are being more specific on what we want them to do. And it would be better that way from my perspective. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Any further comments on that? So, General Assembly, how do you feel of adding public-private partnerships into this part of the statement on finances? Please raise your emotion cards up high. Everyone, because we have a really mixed culture currently. Not everyone has raised it. We have a clarification from, I apologize, do not see whom, but I think SAP South Africa.
South Africa. Are we now voting in addition to what Canada proposed, or are we just voting on the statement as it was originally? Thank you.
No, we are voting now just to what KEPSA Kenya proposed, just adding the private-public partnerships. Okay, one more time, please, emotion cards, because it was really a mixed culture. Clarification, Bram.
Bramke, NPC, the Netherlands. I'm sorry, but can you please clarify whether we are voting on the original statement or with what Canada said added where applicable? Because that's quite of a difference.
Okay. Yeah, so does KEPSA Kenya agrees on the where applicable?
David KEPSA Kenya, I think maybe you could refresh the whole statement with addition on the private-public partnerships so that we have the statement on how it should appear on the policy paper before we got into the voting.
Yeah, no problem.
Thank you.
Ben, Policy Committee.
Ben, Individual Member USA, Policy Committee. So I've added this as a sub-point to the previous point. So point 11 would be encourages governments to ensure that vaccines are affordable to persons in all stages of life. Point A, including through private-public partnerships where applicable.
Just to check, one moment. PANS Nigeria, was it direct to this discussion or was it a new point? New point, okay, then we have a direct from KEPSA Kenya.
David KEPSA Kenya. I think we would just have it the same way as initially drafted because the public-private partnerships, it's being proposed to ensure there's access first of all, then the access now affordability. Because you find like in some of the communities, the public clinics are far away from where the people are, but they can access a chemist or a drugstore closer to where they are. So that's an access factor, not an affordability factor. Then into the affordability factor, some of them might not be able to pay for the vaccine, even when it's in the community pharmacy. So the public-private partnership would ensure that the vaccines are available where they are close to them, then other than the access, making them affordable for them to use them. Thank you.
Could you please clarify under which point you would like to add this?
I would like to have like the initial one on making them affordable would remain as a point on its own. Then the other one would be to recommend government professional associations to foster public-private partnerships to promote access to vaccines as another new point.
So, Petra, IPSF President, we have it already under point 4, which says, urges national governments to ensure equitable access to affordable vaccines that are safe, effective, and of high quality through. Would you agree to add here through public-private partnerships where applicable?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. So we are now voting on addition under point 4 through. It's a point 4 under C, if I'm not mistaken. Through private-public partnerships where applicable. Green, red emotion cards. Everybody, please. Up high. Okay, majority green, so we are going to add this into the declaration. Thank you so much. We're having now a new point from PANS Nigeria. Can we have a microphone to PANS, please?
Alice Nekwere, PANS Nigeria. So, according to the WHO, we have that the factors that are causing this vaccine hesitancy are complacency, convenience, and confidence, in which one of our commitments, that's number 6, has actually stated that we'll try to debunk myths and misinformation on the safety and efficacy of vaccines. That I believe in relation to confidence. But I'm thinking that we could also include our commitments that's towards debunking myths as regards the complacency, and also try to find out, make like commitments towards maybe creating more awareness on how people can access their vaccine conveniently. Thank you.
Can you please clarify what you would like to add exactly in this part 6?
Okay, so commit to help to debunk myths and misinformation on the safety or efficacy of vaccines, and also on complacency, not just on safety and efficacy, because I think that's covering just the confidence issue with vaccines. I don't know.
So Ben is going to propose a bit different wording.
Ben, individual member, USA Policy Committee. This doesn't really fit under the myths and misinformation. And to some degree, it would fall under the next 2 points. Recommends the adoption of community engagement framework to curb vaccine hesitancy in local communities, and recommends the creation of structured long-term plan on educating the public regarding vaccinations and vaccine hesitancy. So if you had wanted to put something under one of these two, it would be a more appropriate point, although it may be covered already by those two. Thank you.
Thank you. Can we see from PANS Nigeria if they agree? Yes. Okay. So can we assess the General Assembly if they agree to the Ben's proposal? Okay, most green, thank you so much. Then we have SNAP Sweden.
Ulrika, SNAP Sweden. Regarding point number 9, we would like to add vegan instead of halal to reach a greater mass. Thank you.
Thank you, SNAP. So we have a direct from KEPSA.
David, KEPSA, Kenya. On the recommendation on removing halal and converting it to vegan. In the Islam community, halal doesn't mean vegan. Thank you.
Clarification, Ipsf Egypt.
Jila Mahmoud, Ipsf Egypt. I'm not sure if you said halal means vegan, but it means it's pork-free, alcohol-free. That's what it meant. And I know that vaccines that have pork-derived ingredients are not very huge, and it only contains gelatin, so I'm not very sure about this part. Thank you.
We have a direct from CAPSI, followed by direct from SNAPS.
Sophia, CAPSI Canada. Did Sweden suggest to replace, or did she suggest to add? Because we could have both vegan and halal, as they are quite different things. Thank you.
We have direct from SNAP Sweden.
Yes, Ulrika, SNAP Sweden. If we have vegan, then it will be no pig derived at all, and therefore there is no need to have halal at all. Thank you.
We have direct from BPSA UK, followed by direct by KMPSV the Netherlands.
Sebastian Bailey, BPSA United Kingdom. Could it be possible to rephrase number 9 so it's inclusive to a more, potentially, and that would solve this problem?
We have a suggestion from BEN Policy Committee, and then we'll come back to direct from KMPSV.
BEN IM USA Policy Committee. Would the phrase non-animal derived be more or less what you're proposing?
We have a lot of directs. So first, KMPSV the Netherlands.
Bram, KMPSV the Netherlands. We should not replace the word halal by vegan or non-animal derived, because we are talking about biotechnology and we are making, how do you call them, excipients that are sometimes animal derived, which may be a halal alternative. So by replacing this by non-animal derived or vegan, you are actually very limiting yourself.
Thank you, KMPSV. We have direct from NZAPSO New Zealand, followed by direct by ANEP drop, NAPS Australia.
Chloe, NAPSA Australia. As EPSF Egypt also mentioned, that halal means no alcohol either, which would not be included if it was just no animal products or if it was to have vegan instead. Thanks.
Thank you, NAPSA. Do we have any further comments? Okay, I see none. Okay, so the proposal from the policy committee is to put a halal and or vegan. How does GA feels about this? Can I please have everyone with the motion cards? Okay, we have most of them green, so we are going to, we have a new comment from Ipsf Austria.
Rian Ipsf Austria and or implies that it's either both or one of the other. So it can be vegan, but it doesn't have to be halal. And so it's not right. Thank you.
How would you feel about going with just and? Okay, we have majority of green. Okay. Do we have any further comments or questions? Clarification from PANS Nigeria.
Sylvester Adeyemi, PANS Nigeria. I need a clarification on the if those who like Allah, if they have a problem with taking maybe medications derived from a vegan source. And I don't know, the use of and or in that statement is quite confusing. Is it that those who prefer the Allah also prefer vegan, or those who prefer vegan derived medication don't prefer Allah? I just don't understand that statement. Please, can it be clarified? Thank you.
Thank you, PANS Nigeria. We have a direct from Ipsf Egypt.
Gina Mahmoud, Ipsf Egypt. So the thing about vaccination that contains pig-derived or alcohol, halal means pig-derived that have pig-derived ingredients or has alcohol. But I don't understand, it's not about preference. It's about if we can take it or we cannot take it. I don't know if it makes sense. Thank you.
We have a direct from KMPSV, the Netherlands.
Bram Campus, the Netherlands. Okay, so you could have a vaccine which has animal-derived excipients in there, but if they are not pig-derived and there is no alcohol in it, it would be a halal vaccine, but it's not vegan. Is that clear enough for you? So it goes one way or the other, but it doesn't go both ways. Yeah.
We have a direct from PANS Nigeria.
Sylvester Adeyemi, PANS Nigeria. So it goes either way, it's either Allah or vegan. What are there other options?
Halal vaccine cannot be vegan, but vegan can be halal. You understand? Okay.
We have a new point from PSA Taiwan.
Cherry PSA Taiwan. I don't think this is a point which we should use majority to overcome, because this is something that is there were some people who rose red flags, and I would just want to ask if they could clarify on why they used red instead of green, because I don't think this is a point which we should use majority to oppress the people who don't think it's a good point. Thank you.
Okay. Can we request those who have flagged red if they would like to add any comment? Anyone? We have a CZPSA Czech Republic.
CZPSA Czech Republic. I would like not to sound racist or something like that, but for me it's really about preference. It's not about that you can't take the vaccine. So for me, I wouldn't even mention it. I mean the halal thing.
We have a clarification from Aya Jamal, President-elect.
I, Jamal, President-elect. Actually, this point has been raised in both the Asia, the Upper region and Emerald region. So this considered also like an opinion of a huge number of people. That's why we addressed it here.
Just wanted to clarify. UTC Czech Republic. Just wanted to clarify my red flag.
Thank you. Do we have any further comments on this? We already voted on end vegans, so this is just an addition. Okay, as I see no comments, I would close the floor for discussion. We are going to upload the updated declaration currently in the drive, so you can one more time look at it. And we'll give you 5 minutes to read through it, and then we are going to proceed to voting if there is no technical changes that needs to be made. Thank you. We have a technical from IPSA Malaysia.
Hey. No interdelegation talk.
Desmond, my PSA Malaysia. So I think just now I did raise one, but then just now I thought Aya saw it, so I put down my card. So I actually have a comment on the current draft. So can I still speak up? Thank you.
Is GA feeling okay if we have one more comment? Yeah, okay. My PSA Malaysia.
Thank you. Desmond, my PSA Malaysia. So first of all, I think IPSF, the S is without the apostrophe, so please add that. And then for my second point, because this... Sorry, so I'm saying that the IPSF, the students is without the apostrophe, so please add that in later. And then since our declaration is on vaccine hesitancy, I think we should shift point number 5 to 8 to 1, 2, 3, 4 instead, because I feel that we shouldn't start off with national governments. That like everything that is related to the national government should come at the end. Whatever that comes to the public should be shifted to the front, because I think we should start with something that is more important, then only we come to something that is not of our control. And for the point,
Just a moment. I will come back to you again. Apologies. So what Desmond is proposing to shift the order of the calls and recommendations to put those which are connected to the national governments to the end. Clarification, Aya Jamal, President-elect.
Aya Jamal, President-elect. The reason why we put national government at the beginning, because this is the first line entity that we need to approach with our statements. So that's the clarification behind having like national approaches first and then public.
We have a direct from KMPSV, the Netherlands.
Bram KMPSV, the Netherlands. I believe it was actually just answered, but maybe this has something to do with the way the formatting should be, and if that's the case, I don't think we should change it.
Thank you so much. So from the policy committee perspective, it is a usual order which is used like who you are addressing first. Therefore, we do not recommend to change the order, but I would still like to assess the General Assembly. If you would like to change the order, please put the green cards up. Okay, we have a direct from IPSA Malaysia.
Desmond, my PSA Malaysia. So can I just clarify why national governments appeared at like point number 4 and after that at point number 10, if like national governments should go first? Because I feel that it's really very, it's not standardized. to me it's a bit messy that suddenly we talk about academic institution, and then after that suddenly we talk about public, and then after that we come back to national government again. Unless you are telling me that this list is based on like the priority. Thank you.
So, Aya Jamal, President-elect.
Jamal, President-elect, yes, that is correct. We're basing, we're setting the points based on the first approach and priority as well.
And Desmond, I'm coming one more time for you for the second part of your comment. So, my PSA Malaysia.
Thank you. Desmond, my PSA Malaysia. So one thing that I would like to add is for point number 6. So I would like to say that like through the conduct of various campaigns in our local communities, can we add additional like in local context in communities instead? Because I think like when we talk about the conduct of various campaigns in local communities, it can mean that like we go to somewhere but then our materials is not adapted to local context, and then like sometimes there are communities that maybe they don't understand words, so we need to use like pictograms to help them understand. So I think like putting in the word local context would be better than like in our local communities. Yeah, thank you.
So the word, as we have it worded here, the conduct of various campaigns in our local communities, the various campaigns already covers different approaches that we are having, so it can also be using the pictograms or different language, etc. Thank you so much for your comments. Okay, we have a direct from Anne France.
It was a direct for the other thing, so does it still direct? Or I don't know.
New point.
Okay, thanks. Pierre-Anne France, sorry. Regarding the order, we should. I think that in terms of priority, regarding public health, the thing about HPV is more important than having pharmacy training in curricula, so we should not change the order, or we should maybe clarify our priorities. But I don't think that it's very useful to change it, okay? Thanks.
Thank you for your comment. So we are now uploading the final version. We are going to vote on to the folder, and you will have 5 minutes to address this. We have a new point from ANEP France.
Pierre, ANEP France. I think that you forgot my first point about encourage the extension of number of vaccines achievable.
We haven't uploaded yet. I will let you know when we...
Okay, sorry.
We are transforming it to the right format to be added in. So while we are waiting, I can pass to have some information for you for what is going to happen tomorrow. So tomorrow we are going to have elections in the GA. We are starting again at 8:30. It is going to be a really long day because we have a lot of candidates. So be well prepared so we can move forward really fastly. Just a reminder that you need to ask questions to all the candidates, not to individual candidates. So if you're going to prepare questions in advance, that you have this in mind. Also, we still haven't received motions proposed by member organizations. We would kindly ask you if it is possible to submit it as soon as possible so that we have additional time to review it and come back to you if any changes are necessary. What's the deadline? The deadline is always the midnight before the last day of the GA, but as soon as possible would be more beneficial for us. Thank you so much for cooperation. Just one more point before going to direct down then to IFO Portugal. Also submissions for the HLMs to HLM committee should be done if anyone is proposing. Direct IFO Portugal.
Beatriz Nanza, IFO Portugal. Could you please say where are we going to adopt the annual reports for the chairpersons of the previous and the current World Congress?
So after the elections, we want to have elections on the 5th, and then on the 6th, we are going to have the financial report of the 64th, financial report and chairperson of 65th, and all the other topics which are following. So the final declaration has been added to the drive, so you can review it. You have 3 minutes. We have a technical from AFAP Austria.
Malina, AFAP Austria. I can't find it in the drive. Sorry.
There is a separate folder called...
Yes, and it's empty. I know. I refreshed it 3 times.
Okay, just a moment. Is anyone else having problem finding it in the drive?
This is the old one. Close it. Yes, I'm gonna.
So it's in the drive. We have a new comment from Snap Sweden.
Ulrika, Snap Sweden. The underlines is still present in point number 1. Thank you.
Okay, we are going to remove it. Can I have green emotion cards to assess if you have read and passed through? Okay. Those who have raised their red cards, could you please confirm that you have read it? Okay, we still have several red. Anyone still red? Okay. We can proceed to voting then. So we are voting on the motion 51. Oh, new comment from USA.
Elizabeth, APHA, ASP, United States. Point number 12 should be encourages instead of just encourage.
Thank you so much. We're going to correct that one. Any further comments, or we are ready for voting? I see none, so we are proceeding to voting for the motions 51, which reads, the 65th IPSF General Assembly approves the IPSF Declaration on Vaccine Hesitancy. This motion shall be achieved immediately and shall not be reviewed. Anyone against? Any abstentions? The motion passed unanimously. Thank you. So we are now finished with today's planned agenda in time. And we are going to proceed to the roll call, and the lunch is immediately after this session. Thank you so much.
ASEP Algeria, ANEP France, SPS Slovakia, delegated to ANEP France, BPHD Germany, NZEP New Zealand, PANS Nigeria, and USPS Singapore, SSFD Slovenia, NAPSER Serbia, delegated to SSFD Slovenia, BPSA United Kingdom, APHASP United States of America, FECOF Costa Rica, delegated to APHASP United States of America, TPAYC Turkey, ATP Tunisia, delegated to TPAYC Turkey, SEP South Africa, NAPSES Sierra Leone, delegated to SEP South Africa, FASA for Romania, PPSA Poland, HUBSHA Hungary, delegated to PPSA Poland, ZPSA Zimbabwe, KMPS Sweden, Netherlands, GPSA Ghana, Ipsf Uganda, delegated to GPSA Ghana, FIPSA Finland, TUPS Estonia, delegated to FIPSA Finland, APSA Australia, AFEP Austria, AFR Argentina, delegated to AFEP Austria, EPSF Egypt, JPSA Jordan, IPST Iraq, delegated to JPSA Jordan, MyPSA Malaysia, ASMA Farsi Indonesia, delegated to MyPSA Malaysia, BPC Morocco, APF Portugal, IPSA Rwanda, PSUT Thailand, IAP Mali, MAPS India, CEFAN Burkina Faso, IFA Togo, ASF Switzerland, SNAPS Sweden, KNAPS Republic of Korea, QFUS Qatar, IPS Japan, delegated to QFUS Qatar, LPSA Lebanon, IPSA Iran, delegated to IPSA Lebanon, CAPSA Kenya, CPSA Croatia, MPSA Malta, delegated to CPSA Croatia, CAPSA Canada, APF Peru, delegated to CAPSA Canada, and CZPSA Czech Republic.
Thank you so much. You may proceed to lunch. The pool party starts at 5.
It's amazing. I'm alone. But amazing. This is the first scrutineer that actually got them on time.
What about excursion? I have no idea what's happening now, so I do not want to share any information.
Inês Coelho.